giant dragon egg, and inside of it is one of the hardest prisons, which I am going to be attempting to escape. I spawned inside of a small bedrock box, so like usual, I looked in F5. I saw a popped chorus fruit in an item frame that was out of my reach, and eventually I found a hopper on the floor. I jumped and I could barely see the hopper, so I opened it and there was an ender pearl inside. I used the ender pearl to escape the box and collected the popped chorus fruit from the item frame. I was in another bigger room with an entrance to another room that I needed at least 4 blocks to get up to. There was another hopper on the ground and I opened it and I got a water bottle and that was it. There was nothing else in this room, so I started breaking the hoppers to see if there was anything behind them. There was nothing beyond the first one, but beyond the second one there's a hole, and inside of that hole there was another hopper. I opened the hopper and there were 2 blaze rods, and now I knew how to make it up to the next room. I crafted 4 end rods using the popped chorus fruit and a blaze rod, and that was just enough blocks to make it up. In the next room there's a bunch of quartz ore in the corner and a hole in the top corner leading to another room. There was also a hopper in the corner that had 1 coal and 1 gunpowder inside of it. I looked around and ended up finding a block of TNT hidden in the roof, but that was all I could find. I needed 3 blocks to get up to the room, but I only had 1, which was the TNT. I knew that I needed to do something with the quartz, but if I broke them with my fist, they wouldn't drop anything. That was when I realized I could use the TNT to blow them up, and I would have them drop the quartz. But the problem was I still needed something to light the TNT, and none of the items I have would do that. That was until I noticed I actually have enough materials to craft a fire charge. I just needed to turn the blaze rods into blaze powder, and then I was able to make 3 fire charges using the gunpowder and coal. So I lit the TNT and went behind the wall to make sure I didn't take any damage. Then I went back into the room and picked up 14 quartz, and now with these quartz I could make 3 quartz blocks, allowing me to build up to the next room. In the next room I collected an item frame with a phantom membrane, and there was also a hopper with 5 nether wart. I saw there was a huge drop down to another room, but it was way too far to survive. I needed a way to get down, and I assumed I needed to make a slow falling potion with the items I had, but I was missing a brewing stand. So I went back and checked beyond the hoppers in case I missed something, but there was nothing behind them. Now I was confused, so I took another look down the hole, and that was when I found a brewing stand hiding on the side. So I made an awkward potion, and then added the phantom membrane to make a slow falling potion. Then I drank the potion, and I glided down to the next room. In the next room, I walked over 2 pressure plates that actually took my potion effect away, and there was nothing in this room except for an oak log. But the oak log was all I needed to get to the next part though, so I made 4 oak planks and used them to build up. In the next part of this room, there's a huge pool of lava leading to an opening on the other side. There was also 2 dispensers really high up in the roof, and a hole with a crafting table and a pressure plate that I assumed I needed to activate. The problem was I had nothing to activate the pressure plate, so I checked in the crafting table for any crafts, but there was nothing of any use. There was nothing else in this room though, so I had to check other places. First I checked beyond the lava to see if anything was there, and I actually found a hopper with a warped fungus inside of it. This still wouldn't let me activate the pressure plate though, so I still had to be missing something. So I decided to check the previous part of the room because it was oddly empty. And when I did that, I ran into a floating piece of string, so I checked around and ended up finding 1 more, and now I knew what to do. I went back to the crafting table and I made a fishing rod. Now that I had a fishing rod, I could use it to activate the pressure plate, and when I activated the pressure plate, a strider came down from the roof as well as a saddle. So I placed the saddle on the strider and crafted a warped fungus on a stick to guide the strider to the other side of the lava. This next part was incredibly difficult, and I probably needed jump boost to complete it. In the next room, there's a 1 block gap at the bottom of a wall that was blocking off another room. I also found a crafting table in one corner and a chest in the other. I went to open the chest, but I found that I couldn't open it because there was bedrock on top of it, so I broke it instead. The chest dropped 35 iron nuggets, and that was it. So I went to the crafting table and checked what I could make, but none of the items would help me go under the wall. I needed 1 more iron nugget to make an iron trapdoor, but I didn't know where to get the last nugget. But that was when I realized there was actually another chest that I could open, and that chest had a piece of steak, an iron helmet, and a stone button in it. But none of these items would help me get under the wall, so I was still missing something. I looked around the room 1 more time, and I realized I could break the crafting table to see if anything was behind it. There was actually a furnace behind the crafting table, and now I knew what to do. I could smelt the iron helmet and get 1 more iron nugget. But now I needed something to smelt the helmet, and my only options were the chest and the crafting table since the steak would not be enough fuel. So I decided to use the chest because I would need the crafting table to make the iron ingot anyway. After it was done smelting, I grabbed the iron nugget and made the last iron ingot, and now I was able to craft an iron trapdoor. I placed the iron trapdoor with the button beside it, grabbed my crafting table, and crawled underneath to the next room. In the next room, there was an entrance to another room that was 3 blocks up, and it looked like it could be the exit because I could see the sky. So I looked around and found a chest with 5 nether wart in it, and that was it. So I picked up the 2 chests in this room, and I actually noticed that one of them was a trap chest. Now I had enough blocks to make it to the next room, but I decided to make a nether wart block with the 9 nether wart, and I used that instead of the trap chest because it will most likely be used in another room. Now I was in another room, and I thought I had escaped, but it turns out there was barrier blocks in the way, and I could not escape. There was a block of ice on the floor, and that was it, and it looked like there was a massive fall underneath, and I had to find a way to melt it. At first I thought this would be easy, and I used a fire charge to set the ice on fire, and waited, but that actually didn't work. So I needed another way to create a light source, and I was confused until I found the secret opening in the barrier blocks. In the secret opening, there was a chest, and inside of it there was 4 candles, so I placed the candles on top of the ice and lit them using my last fire charge. Eventually, the ice melted, and I made it down to a weird room where there was a crafting table in the middle with a sign above it that said "Third Sign." There was also a platform in the corner with a hole in the roof above it, and that was way out of my reach. Finally, there was a wall with paintings back where I entered from, so I first decided to check beyond the paintings, and I ended up finding a secret room. Inside of the secret room, there was a furnace, and it contained 3 raw copper, and I decided to use the 2 signs on the wall to smelt the copper. I went back and broke the sign that said "Third Sign," and I used that to cook the final piece of copper. Now that I had 3 raw copper, I was able to craft a lightning rod, and I used it to climb up to the platform. When I made it to the top of the platform, I checked the hole, and there was a hopper that contained a totem of undying. That was all that was left in the room though, so I decided to start checking behind things. I checked behind the paintings and I found nothing else, but when I broke the crafting table, there was a trail of redstone with a sign above it that said "Activate here." So I broke the trap chest and placed the chest under the sign, and then opened the chest to activate the redstone. The redstone ended up removing 2 of the bedrock blocks on the right wall, and there was another room with a massive drop to an end portal. The end portal was not finished though, so I still needed an Eye of the Ender to go to the end. So I looked around the room, and I found a hopper right above me that contained the eye. Now I was able to drop all the way down because of my totem, and I activated the portal to go to the end. When I made it to the end, I spawned on a platform with a huge structure above it, and I walked forward and had all my items removed by a command block. So I broke the pressure plate so that didn't happen again, and I walked to the end of the platform. There was flowing lava which probably led to the structure above, and I clicked behind it and found a glass bottle and a blaze rod. I also found a slime ball hidden at the end of the platform, and that gave me half the items to make a fire resistance potion. So I looked around some more, and eventually I found a hidden brewing stand and a sign that said "Subscribe," which reminds me that over 96% of you are still not subscribed, so if you are in that group, please subscribe. I opened the brewing stand and there was nether wart in it, so now I was just missing water to make a potion. I looked everywhere for water, and I thought I was missing something, but then I found the water source hidden off the edge of the platform. So I made a really risky jump and filled my water bottle and then went back to the brewing stand. I made a magma cream with the slime ball, and I made 1 fire resistance potion, and now I would be able to climb up the lava. So I drank the fire resistance and swam up the lava, and when I made it to the top, I was in another room which had 4 popped chorus fruits hidden in different areas. I used the chorus fruits to make 4 purple blocks, and I used those to climb up to the other part of the room. This room was a giant platform, and there were 2 observers in it, as well as 2 rooms on the side that I didn't have enough blocks to climb up to. So I decided to look around the edge, and I found a dropper which contained 1 piece of bedrock and an end crystal in it. I used the bedrock to finish a staircase to one of the rooms, and inside of this room there's a hopper with 2 different types of logs and an oak plank in it. There was also a space I had to crawl under. So I made a crafting table and crafted a boat, and then used it to go under the wall. On the other side of the wall, there was another hopper with a piston, a slime ball, and 4 honey blocks, and now I knew where this was going. Now that I had a few blocks, I used them to build up to the other side of the room, and inside of it there was a bunch of iron ore. I knew this iron ore was put there for a reason though, so instead of breaking it, I used the end crystal to break it so that raw iron would drop. The explosion revealed another room behind the iron, and this room had a furnace inside of it that contained 8 sticks, so I decided to smelt the 3 iron. 3 iron would be the perfect amount because it would leave me with enough sticks to make a pickaxe, and I could use the pickaxe to break the observers in the main room. The reason I would want to break the observers is because I have almost everything to make a flying machine, but the observers are one of the things I'm missing. So I smelted the iron, and while doing that I noticed something weird. The iron was immediately disappearing after it smelted, so that meant there was a hopper behind it. So once I was done smelting, I broke the furnace, and sure enough there was a hopper which contained the last items I needed to make a flying machine. So I crafted my pistons into sticky pistons, made a pickaxe and broke the observers, and then I made a flying machine. After that, I activated the flying machine and flew to the end island. And on the end island there was a giant dragon egg, and inside of it was the exit to the overworld. So I went through the portal and that was it. I had escaped the end prison in Minecraft.